Hello, this is Virtua Fighter 4 Evolution on PS2. Last episode I incorrectly called it Virtua Fighter 4, but it is not Virtua Fighter 4 Vanilla, it's Virtua Fighter 4 Evolution, and it has a quest mode, and that's what we're going to play. I've got a new wallpaper that is a devilish Sarah Bryant, and that's because that's who we're going to play. It's time to do Sarah Bryant in quest mode. Now, I've played a teeny tiny, I guess I played like one episode's worth of Sarah before, just to see how she played in this version. And I didn't get too far. I guess I unlocked the second arcade. Now, I need to change my name. Clear? Backspace? BS. Yes, give me that BS. Okay. Just getting my name in here properly so you don't forget who I am, and I don't forget who I am. It's probably more likely. And what else? This is on. I'm gonna keep it on standard difficulty for as long as I can. I just got done playing through Jacky's quest mode on standard, but after I finish his main quest mode, I switched to this new button layout in which I cannot block. I unmapped the block button, the guard button, and that's made things trickier, so we'll see how getting through Sarah's quest mode goes without being able to block. Now, if there's anybody who can do it, maybe it is Sarah, because she can't block anyway in her flamingo stance, which is the main thrust of her offense. Nothing. Well, I only have 700 money. Some sunglasses. Oh yeah, so I have this orange color, but I don't think I really like it. It was weirding me out. When I loaded her up in Versus mode briefly yesterday to take a look at a new option I unlocked playing Jacky. Alright. So yeah, I'm very pumpkin looking here, which I'm not. I also, that hairdo is really bothering me now. I don't want to do that hair. I don't know about earrings either. What was I doing? I never wear earrings. I guess I just put them on because I had them. So blue is just... Oh, blue is purple. Well, that's... So default is blue. Default is blue. Blue is purple. Orange is orange. I mean, the pumpkin color is Halloween-y, and we're close on Halloween. But, I don't know, I'm not crazy about it. Let's try this. Blue? Also purple. Blue? Okay, you can't really see that one from here. Belt buckle, blue. Okay, that's probably a bit much. Why is the D... Well, what the heck. All in. Her 2P costume, I'm not... Wow, it doesn't actually look all that different. I guess I could just do a color set. That would be faster, right? Whoa, so this blue is blue. What's default? Oh yeah, because default is not blue. I just saw that one. If I did... That doesn't look good. Accessories. Ah, okay, that looks better. Pants, I don't like the red. Not too keen on the orange. Tank top. Ah. Let's try that. Alright, so that means I have to change color with the L1, R1. My color is currently a red gleam next to her little eye portrait there in the lower left next to my name. Now it's blue, so I think that's going to be 2P. We'll find out. So this is day 2. See the date there. Yeah, I guess how does that work? I don't know, anyway. So I've got 5 of these events unlocked to start with. Well, I did do the first arcade, so might have unlocked one of those. But I think I just checked with somebody else who was totally brand new, and they had 5 as well. These are basically different fighting modes as these sort of medium-high rank level tournaments against the AI you can play. Hyper battle action's pretty crazy. Survival's pretty fun. Iron fight is fun. Knockdown clash sucks. Just like wall deathmatch. But there are up to 14 of these. I unlocked, well, it is all 14 playing through as Jacky, so we'll unlock more of those. I said B again. Oh well, I don't know. So I already completed this first arcade, but I did not. I only beat 63.6% of the opponents inside it. Seems like it's a tiny arcade though, so it probably... With Jacky, I ended up going back through the arcades and getting them all up to at least 90% completion. I don't want to have to come back because actually going back through the arcades as Jacky made me like really sloppy. So once I got up to the harder arcades again, I was just not playing well. So I want to get them all up to 90% the first time through here, this time with Sarah. So let's do that. I hate evading. Alright, well, so let's just beat up people here for a little while, and that'll let me get into get something going. I don't know. I have not done her command training. I tend to like just sort of getting my own feel, just kind of feeling my way through a character in the beginning by just fighting and hitting buttons and seeing what happens and kind of finding my own stuff that I like. And then eventually I'll have questions and concerns and I'll have to do her command training, or I'll just start getting stomped. Oh, wow. Jeez.
Ready? Go!
So I already got up to 4th queue with her in like one session. So when she goes up on one leg, that's her flamingo stance. She can't move while she's in that stance. I mean, she can't, dash backwards and forwards or sidestep or anything. And she can't block. But I can't block at any point anyway because I took away my guard button. So that does not actually matter for me.
Fight one. Ready? Go!
But when I was playing, when I was playing Jacky in no blocking mode, I would dash forward and backwards a lot to do kind of hit and run. And you can't do that in... Oh, geez, do it again. Oh, she rolled to the side. You can't dash forward and back when you're in Flamingo. You just have to rely on spamming the opponent with kicks so that they can't hit you. In these early arcades, there's an important part of the gameplay is actually different. And I'm not the biggest fan of it, but you'll notice the round win indicators around at the lower corners of the clock in the middle of the screen on top there. Oh, I missed. I wanted to shove her out. There's only 2 rounds to win, whereas once you get to the 3rd arcade, I think, quest mode becomes 3 rounds to win. So they start you off in these shorter matches, which I'm actually not a fan of. I don't know. I guess they didn't want new players to feel like it was a slog just to get through a fight, but you kind of need those additional rounds to get a feel for your opponent. I guess, you know, in the early going, you don't really need to get a feel for anybody because they're not very good. Well, I'm up for a promotion to 3rd Q. Just fall out of the ring, bald eagle. I don't remember these AIs. I haven't fought them in a long time. Okay, don't do that. As I played through with Jacky, I started off doing a bunch of different moves, then I did his command training and learned more moves and tried some of those. But what I learned eventually with Jacky was that the AI is so brutal in this game at the higher ranks and even at the medium ranks, and even at the not so high medium ranks. The AI is so clinical at just brutally countering you if you do a move that allows them to attack after they block it or avoid it, or even if you hit them with it. Their counterattacks are ruthless, and they will take full advantage of almost every opportunity to counterattack, especially at the high ranks. So there are just a lot of moves that are not safe enough to do against them, because if you miss, if they dodge, they will just hit you with a huge combo and you will eat all this damage.
Excellent.
Wow. So with Jacky, I eventually found, it was a very small repertoire of moves of his, basically, that were relatively safe to do because they would push the opponent back a lot, even if the opponent blocked. That was kind of the general way they worked. So I imagine that I'll be having to find those kind of moves with Sarah as well in order to be able to really take on the AI at higher levels. Although, I mean, she is different in that she's got this flamingo stance where you're not really looking for pushback, you're looking for just rapid attack strings, which is a little different. Although you need to know how to exit flamingo without getting caught. And I right now I'm just mashing buttons. I really have no idea what's happening. But that's fine. This is just where you just try to build up some sort of unconscious fluency with the character. That doesn't necessarily turn into useful habits, as I found when I went back to the low-level arcades with Jacky and then moved rapidly through those, getting 90% completion, and then back to the tougher arcades, where then I found that I'd been doing a lot of unsafe moves, and I just was getting pummeled because I was now sort of in the habit of doing them. But you gotta start somewhere, and I don't know what her safer moves are yet. That was pretty sweet. I've played Sarah in, a lot of other Virtua Fighter games. Well, let's see. Well, not so much in 2. There's a version of 2 for PS3 that's quite a good port, but I could only really play Jacky in that because I hated Sarah's stage. Sarah's stage in Virtua Fighter 2 has this lightning flash effect that's really rough on the eyes, and I had some pretty rough photosensitivity at the time, so I didn't want to play Sarah's stage in Virtua Fighter 2. And there was actually a way not to have to play her stage, because if you play as Jacky in Virtua Fighter 2, when he gets to Sarah, they play in a different stage. They play in what I've seen called Chicago stage. You're basically in this like back lot that's just this, this concrete back lot with graffiti on the walls around and just these old kind of rundown urban buildings, and there's like police sirens in the background, and there's like an elevated train track running overhead. Pretty wild. And the same thing happens if you're playing Sarah and you meet Jacky in her arcade mode. They go to Chicago to fight. So I don't know if the Bryants are supposed to be from Chicago, but it kind of seems like it according to Virtua Fighter 2. I should have done a throw. And of course it's got to be a Leon who gets me first.
Ready? Go!
Oh, I hate Leon. Leon likes to stay low, so that's something to keep in mind. Ooh. They did a really good job. I can't talk. They did a really good job animating her flamingo stance. Like, you wouldn't think it would really be realistic or looking for a woman to just be standing on one leg doing these crazy series of kicks and punches, but, well, you can't really punch. That'll drop you out of flamingo, I think.
Maybe I should pull back a little.
But they make it look believable. So that's impressive, actually. So I didn't play her in 2. I haven't played Virtua Fighter 1 ever, as far as I can remember. Maybe I played it like once in the arcade back in the day when I somehow had however much money it cost to play that. But I was playing her in Virtua Fighter 3 TV on Dreamcast until just a little over a week ago, maybe, when I had to stop playing that game because I found that you can just do sweep kicks on the AI repeatedly, even at the highest AI difficulty, and just cheese the AI. Oh my gosh, speaking of cheese, Magic Monk, you just got Doritoed. Yahoo indeedy. But I enjoyed playing her in Virtua Fighter 3 before I knew about that unfortunate way to exploit the AI, because her 3TB on Dreamcast, because that was before she had her flamingo stance, and so she's just a woman who has some good kick moves, and it's kind of her thing. Much less complicated. But I have played her a bunch in later VFs where she, of course, does have Flamingo. She got Flamingo in Virtua Fighter 4, which I played her a bit in. Not a ton, I guess. I felt she felt really stiff to me in Virtua Fighter 4, just the way she moved. And, I was talking about her impressive animation here in Evolution. And 4, both she and Jacky really felt pretty stiff. It felt like they were still kind of working out how to animate them. But she and Jacky feel amazing in this game. I mean, I played Jacky's quest mode here in this game because he just feels incredible. It's just as far as gameplay feel goes, the Jacky in Virtua Fighter 4 Evolution is by far my favorite feeling Jacky. It just feels like everything he does is awesome. Which is kind of what you want in a fighting game character, you know? It's the same stupid Leon. I guess this is a kind of tiny arcade. Should I try doing this quest? I hate evading. I'm not going to do it. I got principles.
Ready? Go!
And certainly Sarah feels a lot smoother here than she did in 4 Vanilla. And smoother than in 3TB, I'll admit. Although 3TB is really good. Except for the AI problem, I guess. Still just mashing, lots of kicks. Stupid Leon. So I have all these ways I limit myself when playing Virtua Fighter games. I hate sidestepping, so I don't evade. Again, when she's in her flamingo stance, she can't evade, so that seems normal. I'm now not blocking because... Well, it was because... Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I'm not blocking because holding the block button a lot which was what I was doing, it caused me to sort of lean my weight on my right arm on the base of the arcade stick that I'm using, and that in turn put the stress on my right shoulder, which is just abused from years of me leaning it on my drawing table, which I try not to do anymore when I'm working, but it still objects when I stress it out. So it was not happy with me holding block all the time, so I decided, well, the solution to this is not to block. So that's what I'm doing.
Let's begin. Fight one.
And it actually I got it working kind of okay with Jacky. I was doing all right towards the end with him there. I don't know if I could beat the highest difficulty AIs with Jacky not blocking. That's something I'll be exploring on Tuesday nights, actually. I will still be playing Jacky on Tuesdays. This is my Wednesday night, so I'll be playing Sarah Quest Mode on Wednesday and Sunday nights. And then I upload the episodes overnight. I have fairly slow internet, but they get there by the next day, and then I write them up with way too much typing and keywords and all that junk, and post them on my YouTube channel. Well, I'm first cue. Now, how does it work that way in this game where I think, at least in vanilla, it got drummed into my head, you can't get demoted in vanilla, and I think in this one, until you reach first dan. At first dan, if you get beat too much, and it's very kind of complicated, you have to win or lose a certain number of matches to an opponent of your same rank. That's how you get promoted or demoted. That's how these promotion matches come up, or demotion matches. So, for instance, I'm fighting a 9th queue right now, and I'm a first queue. So that battle had no effect on getting me closer or farther away from the next rank. No effect at all, because he was not my rank. It only matters if you're fighting somebody your rank, and that used to make me real nervous, especially like the proto quest mode in vanilla, VF4 vanilla, was called, well, it's still there if you go back and play it. It's called Kumite. and it's just fighting. It's not broken up into separate arcades. There's no interruption to it. Basically, you just fight, and then you go to the next fight, and then you go to the next fight, and it's always against opponents pretty much right around your own rank. You can't, pick an easy arcade or a harder arcade. It's just brutal. And so then every time you run into a character of your own rank, it's just nerve-wracking. At least that's how it felt to me. So back in the day, how I ended up playing vanilla before Evolution came out was just, vanilla has some really interesting AI modes, and so it's got these modes where you can just sort of coach an AI, like through Kumite. So I would just coach an AI in Kumite, or I'd basically just leave it fighting there as a fancy screensaver. It was pretty much what I ended up doing with vanilla. And then Evolution came out, and I tried it, and it got rid of the AI modes, and I was just really mad about that. So I didn't play it much back when it first came out. I was mad. I was mad that it took away my AI coaching mode.
Fight 2. Ready? Go!
Whoop. I think I also objected to the fact that if you lose in a Kumite match, or in a quest mode match, in Evolution, you can continue. It gives you a chance to continue. And I thought, continue, that's for wimps. Back in Kumite, man, you couldn't continue. You just took the L and went to the next fight. But yeah, I mean, Kumite mode actually stressed me out pretty severely, so it's probably a reason that they added in continues.
Fight 1. Ready?
Cheater! I don't want to fight. No, I already fought you anyway. That little yellow or gold star next to her name at the little fighter cards at the beginning of the fight there showed the yellow star next to her name shows that I have defeated her before with Sarah. Still just spamming. I'm kind of having way too much fun.
Go!
Hey, or do you start with a white orb? I guess maybe you start with a white orb. I guess you have to, yeah. Because the orb system, so that white ball above and to the right, oh, she's not dead yet, what am I doing? Is above to the left of the timer is called an orb. If you get all 7 of the different colored orbs, you supposedly unlock a special item for your character. You can get 2 sets of orbs and get 2 special items for each character, is what I read. I've never gotten a set of orbs because it's actually a big kind of it's a grind. They put it in as a way to get players to grind, just a sort of cheap additional playtime thing. It's really aggravating, actually. Because if you lose... So there are all these rules about what constitutes a match where you can actually win an orb from your opponent, but if you do get into such a match where you could win an orb from your opponent, they could also win one from you. And so they will take your orbs. And then actually, that's where the rematch system gets frustrating, especially because if you're fighting somebody and they take an orb of yours, depending on what orb they take, because if you lose, they take one of your orbs in an orb match, and depending on what orb they take, it's quite possible that you will not be able to then win an orb back from them, even if you have continues, because the orb, in order for anybody to win an orb, both of you have to have the possibility of winning an orb in that match, and you can only do it depending on how the orbs of you and your opponent match up. And so if they take a certain orb, it could throw off that matchup, and then it's no longer an orb match for the rematch, the continue, and so you can't actually get your orb back, which is just it's awful. Well, that was not my best outing.
Fight 2. Ready?
So I'm not going to be worried about orbs. I probably would have eventually got an orb set, one orb set with Jacky, except that there was an AI I ran into midway through his quest mode, and I had, just from playing, I had accumulated by that point I had 3 orbs, I think. Maybe 4. Maybe 4, I don't remember. But, he had orbs as well. He was in this special group that tends to have orbs. And he was just really good. I mean, I'll probably run into him with Sarah. He's a destroyer rank AI named Dude. He's a Jacky. He does these vicious split kick combos that do a lot of damage, and he beat me, and then I used all 3 of my continues, and he beat me all of those times, and each time he beat me, he took an orb. So he took all of my orbs. I was wiped clean in one long session against this guy who I could not beat.
Go!
That's how orb hunting goes. And it was actually a long time before I did beat him. I think I beat him eventually. I don't know. There's a couple AIs I did not beat with Jacky. I think they were both Sarahs. There are a couple of Sarahs late in the game that are just incredible. And maybe I'll be able to learn something from them playing Sarah, because they could move in and out of the flamingo stance so swiftly and smoothly. Oh my gosh, that was awesome. That's flip kick, which must be up back kick, just like Jacky. Oh, actually with Jacky... Well, yeah, I guess you do with just up back kick. They were just able to move in and out of flamingo incredibly fluidly, so that you would see them go into flamingo, and you would think, okay, now they're in flamingo, so they're stuck in place and they can't block, so I'm gonna do this. Well, my thinking against flamingo is really more like, when I'm facing flamingo, as I am right here, it's more like, oh no, I'm in trouble. And you try to like do a low kick, because that can knock her out of what she's trying to do in flamingo. That was really my only thing I could try to do as Jacky, or like a crouch punch. But at best, I still always end up in a health deficit when the AI goes into flamingo, a high rank AI generally. So these Sarahs would just maul me, and I would get set, they'd go into flamingo, and I'd think, okay, I gotta do this to survive this. But by the time I would maybe be ready to try to survive their flamingo stance, they would already be out of it and doing something else to me that caught me, and it was just incredible, and I wish I could fight them more. And I guess I'll maybe find a way to do that when I'm playing Jacky on Tuesdays. Maybe someday I'll beat them. Maybe the information that I glean here playing Sarah will help me defeat those 2 Sarahs. Oh, so that's down forward kick, yeah. Oh man. Now, Jacky has a down forward kick launcher as well, and it's a totally unsafe move, so that is not a move that I'm really going to be able to do consistently against the opponent as I go up against higher ranks. Jacky does not have that really smooth backflip. That's not just... I don't know how I do that. Shoot. But my Jacky definitely has a problem fighting his sister's flamingo stance. So it will be interesting, too, to see how the AI Jackies handle my flamingo stance. I think it's just that when you're facing a flamingo Sarah, you have to... When she goes into flamingo, you have to hit her low. Basically, she's too fast to hit standing. At least for me, in playing Jacky, I could basically never hit her. Well, sometimes I would, but that's just luck. To be able to get her consistently, you'd have to go low, and I just am not so hot with Jacky in particular going low. Jacky's low options always seem fairly limited, and not very safe to me. So I never really got good at playing Jacky with low hits, but that's what you gotta do against Sarah's, it seems. Squishy got squashed. I love that backflip animation with that sound. It's so smooth.
Maybe I should pull back a little.
See, now I was not that crazy about Sarah in this game in terms of her costume. Like, you know, her starting costume with the, what is it? The pink top and the red, like, Levi jeans pants or denim pants or whatever. Just, and the chain around the waist or the upper waist just made her look like a, you know, like a chick who would be riding on the back of some guy's Harley Davidson or something, you know? That's, like, I don't know if that's the look they were going for, but that's, and it was just like, I don't know about that look. But, you know, you put her in some cooler colors, and, I don't know, I think she looks alright. We'll see how she looks. I'm not sure how I don't know if you can get a black, cat suit. You know, her famous default costume is the blue cat suit. Playing her in Virtua Fighter 5, for instance, in that game's quest mode, I eventually got a full black cat suit, and that looks pretty good in that game. She's got a very different figure in this game. She's sort of, well, she's not as slender as she is in 5. In 5, she's sort of slender and less muscular, I guess. I was watching a Virtua Fighter 5 Ultimate Showdown player who was quite good, and he was complaining about how Sarah just kind of lost her figure after 4. They flattened her out, and he was less of a fan. But, you know, I kind of got used to her lithe, tomboyish figure in 5. So this is different, but, you know, probably get used to it. It's more full-figured Sarah. She's making it work. Whoa! Well, that was a weird kick. I don't know about that animation, where she just sort of fired her left leg up from nowhere. She's got a purple bit of color on her left chest there. I don't know what that was. There's some kind of decoration there.
Fight 1. Ready? Go!
Oh, the jabs. See, now that low stance of pies would always wreck me as Jacky, because I was very slow with him to get into a low, be able to do a low hit against that low stance of pies. But Sarah, it feels like she is much easier to do a low with. See, like there were lows straight out of, not Compton, straight out of Flamingo. And those come out really fast. The thing that's so devastating about Flamingo is just how quickly her strikes come out while she's in Flamingo. She can really just beat almost every attack, just speed-wise.
Bring it on. Fight 1. Ready? Go!
And your opponents, if they really want to be able to get her, they'll have to resort to jabs, like he is doing very effectively here. That was not a very good combo, but I got through it. Yeah, so punch takes you right out of Flamingo. Back kick puts you right back into Flamingo. In 5 and 5 Final Showdown, she's got different ways to go into Flamingo. Like one is a deflection that then puts her into Flamingo stance. And I'm not sure how many of those she has in Evolution. I was never really that fluent with those in 5. In 5, you could really kind of abuse her flamingo stance, just mashing out kicks. The AI, even at the high ranks, was not super great at avoiding getting just run over. Although maybe they started to be at the very highest ranks. It started to be a bit of a problem sometimes. But then I found that in 5, the AI can't defend very well against throws. At first it feels like they're fine, but they don't get better at defending against throws like they do against defending anything else. So in 5, you find once you get to a certain rank, by far the best option at any time almost is just to throw the AI. And that gets pretty dull. So even with a non-throw character like Sarah, I found I was just throwing all the time, and I actually had a very perceptive viewer who was like, "You're just throwing all the time, man." Like, I guess you're right. Like, it hadn't occurred to me that it was sort of a problem, but then after that, I sort of realized that, yeah, this is a problem, and I think the AI is maybe not defending against throws correctly, and it turned out they weren't. So I had to stop playing that game. So basically, I can't play any Virtua Fighter game right now except for this game. Vanilla, I didn't find an overall defensive weakness in Vanilla, Virtua Fighter 4 Vanilla, but it's just got a lot of rough edges. And, you know, like I said, Sarah and Jacky don't feel that great in that game. There are moves that are really overpowered or don't work very well for certain characters. And it's kind of got a lot of problems. It definitely feels like, you know, the first iteration of a total revamp of a fighting game. They still had a lot of stuff to work out. But they really did an amazing job between Vanilla and Evolution. This game. And I really wish we had a version of the next iteration of 4, the last iteration, which was Virtua Fighter 4 Final Tuned, but that only came out in the arcade. I would be very curious to see what that's like. It's probably not nearly as dramatic a difference as going from Vanilla to Evolution is. Oh no! I'd also just like to see the new versions of the stages they made for Final Tuned, although it kind of looked like they did something like what happened between VF5 Vanilla and VF5 Final Showdown on PS3, for instance, where they from 5 to Final Showdown, they removed a lot of the environmental detail from the backgrounds, and I think that was to support more effects on the on all the doodads you could put onto your character's costume as you played the game. And perhaps that's what happened in Virtua Fighter 4 Final Tuned as well, because some of the stages there at least look a little less detailed in terms of like the background lighting and effects. Like, for instance, if you go on search for Final Tuned footage on YouTube, you'll find arcade footage of this stage in Final Tuned, and it takes place during it's like bright daytime, but there aren't really, it's just like bright, sort of evenly, lightly overcast or something, so it's just very bright but no sharp, there's nothing casting shadows, so it's a kind of flat feeling background, even though it's super brightly lit. I mean, that actually makes it feel flatter. Oh, that didn't work. That's kind of what I would do with her in 5, which would be go into Flamingo, do your kicks, then go to punches, then do a backflip kick. That worked really well in 5. I suspect it wouldn't work quite as effectively in this game. The AI is just a little smarter. It's probably still a pretty good option. Gosh dang these brads. Awesome B. See how we're doing here. What's my win streak at? 31? I guess that's pretty good. Coin earring. So I think maybe I got this because I got my completion rating in the arcade up to a certain level. Coin earring and red color. Or actually, well, I think some of the colors come with rank. So I don't know. And I unlocked this is an event on the Event Square Island. So now I have 6 events over there. Seesaw game I don't really like. Like, both opponents start at half health, but when you hit your opponent, you gain the health they lose. So one character always ends at 0 health, and the other character ends at 100% health with a perfect. And but that sounds kind of cool. What I can't handle is, like, I'll have an opponent on the ropes. You know, I'm at like 90% health and they're like 10, and then they get a big combo on me, and suddenly we're like back to even. And then they get another combo on me, and I'm on the ropes, and at that point I just totally lose it. I can't handle that. I can't handle them coming back like that and getting all that health back. That just I couldn't handle that. I was playing it with Jacky, and so kicks you out of the arcade, which is inconvenient. Let's see what we're at. Hey, just 90%, so that's good. That's what I want it to be. How about that? And you see it says top tournament ranked champion, so I've already done the tournament here. Each arcade has its own tournament, which opens up after you complete a certain... There's always some requirement you have to fulfill in order to get the tournament to open, and then you can enter the tournament. And once you beat the tournament, I think you only have to place in the top 3. Once you beat that, and that's why I had a gold cup icon under my name when I was fighting here, because I'm the gold cup champion in this arcade. I won the tournament in first. Once you do win top 3 place in the tournament, then it unlocks the next arcade. So I'd already done that. So the tournament entry condition here, earn a completion rating 50% for this arcade, and then in brackets it shows my completion rating, so I don't actually have to go here. It's 37. Well, they didn't round correctly, or how most usage would round up to 38, but they didn't round up. And then each arcade has its own little sub-quests you can do as well. I don't like evading, so I just don't do those. Sometimes I just end up with where I don't want to do any of them. I don't want to do that. I guess I'm doing that one already, aren't I? That's why it's great. This UI is not... It's a little confusing. Okay, so... Well, I guess we'll just do some fighting here. As you go through these arcades, the opponents gradually... I can't even talk. Gradually move up in rank, so these guys... Let's go back. Take a look. Yeah, so this has one group of AIs are in 3rd to 1st. It makes it look like they didn't have anybody from 6th to 4th. And then most of them are in... So like 75% of them in this arcade are from 10th to 7th queue rank, and then 25% are in 3rd to 1st queue rank, whereas in this arcade that you open up after beating that arcade, you've got a slightly more complicated situation. But now you've got a bunch in the majority, actually, in that 6th to 4th queue range. So you're definitely going to be, on average, fighting tougher opponents here. Still not too tough, even on the higher standard difficulty. You could also just play through everything on beginner difficulty. That's the other difficulty setting you can pick, and beginner is pretty easy. Oh, okay. I haven't done any throws yet, have I? Oh, see, that's a weird animation. Oh! Fat Tuesday here, getting those jabs in. Yeah, everybody's really low jabbing, Sarah. I think they realize, I think they've been programmed to try to avoid getting kicked in the face by doing low jabs. I mean, it's the favorite move of the AI anyway. I got low jab plenty of times as Jacky, but it's kind of seeing even more dedicated use of low jabs against Sarah here. Maybe it's my imagination.
Even good guys blow it.
Her voice is a lot less irritating than Jacky's. So that's an upgrade. I done handcuffed lightning, is what he liked to say.
Fight one. Ready? Go.
Kind of clunky, but it worked. Oh, the low jabs. I'm sorry. I hate the cheapness of low jabs. It didn't actually mean to do low jab.
Ready? Go.
Oh, deflection, eh? I'm trying to figure out... Oh, there's my sweep. Down, forward, guard, kick. I don't have guard itself mapped, but I do have a guard plus kick button mapped. So I can do sweeps. It doesn't come out as naturally as if I did just have a guard button that I could use on the fly in conjunction with whatever other buttons I wanted. But it's a sacrifice you make to save my crusty old shoulder, I guess.
Fight one.
Noob. Ow. That was very clunky flamingo work there.
Ready?
Yeah, see, at some point, probably not too long down the line, I'm going to run into a point where just spamming buttons, especially kicks, in flamingo is not going to be enough to win every match. Still doing the trick here, though. And then I'll actually have to start learning stuff. Oh, no. That was a pretty brutal evasion. I love her forward flying knee, though. Jacky's forward is a lunging kick. Oh, see, he rolled to the side, so oh, now what are you going to do? Oh, no. Well, I'll just shove you out clumsily. Jacky's forward kick is this huge lunging thing where he sticks his leg way out forward and really commits, and that move is totally unsafe. Like, that was my go-to opener with Jacky in the early arcades, and then, you know, I got, I don't know, to arcade, well, somewhere in the middle of the quest, and just started getting brutally punished for that forward kick move with Jacky, and I had to stop using it. And then I would still do it from time to time. I would still get the urge to do it from time to time against higher ranked opponents later, and I would just almost always get wrecked. So I don't think her forward kick where she does that flying knee is as bad, but you can see that if they did happen to, like, watch, if they did block that like he just did, see, he gets a pretty easy counterattack on me. He did not really take advantage of it, though. Oh, so maybe that backflip is only when she's, yeah, up back when she's in flamingo. That's actually pretty cool. It's a nice escape move. It also just looks and sounds so slick. I'm not sure it worked quite that way in 5, because I don't really remember that in 5. And it was probably still there.
What are you doing?
Oh, we got this very shiny Jeffrey.
Go.
Oh, the jabs. See, I switched to punch, and then he just jabbed me out. Oh, that was tricky. those 2 quick kicks I did that were not in Flamingo. It's a nice option, maybe.
Fight 2. Ready?
But you can definitely see how Flamingo just, like, she so naturally goes into Flamingo's stance from various inputs, and then she just generates so much offense out of it that it's really becomes central to her game plan. It was a real change up for Sarah when they put that move in, when they put that stance in. And it does, you know, it is nice going back to a simpler Sarah who does not have Flamingo, as you can do if you play 3TB. But AI isn't as good in 3TB, so that didn't last long. Ow, okay. See, she went low. She went low again. That low bob she does is just horrible. She did it again.
Fight 2. Ready?
Man, that is quite the garish color selection. Yeah, see, that's not what you want to do. That's dangerous. Yeah, just going low.
KO.
All that came out of low moves.
Thank you.
I lost.
Fight 1. Ready? Go.
So I'm going to have to learn how to deal with opponents who go low consistently. That was funny. A little punch clash. Oh, not that way. No.
KO.
There. You can do a good down forward low kick in Flamingo. At least I think it's down forward. Maybe it's down.
Ready? Go.
See, I gotta resist the urge to try to do that punch spam that I would do in 5. In 5, you just down forward, or was it forward kick to go into Flamingo, and then kick, 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 then forward punch, 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 and then what? Just back or something to skip out of it and go to safety.
Fight 1. Ready?
But
Go.
you could get caught in 5 between the kicks and the punches, but it was kind of rare, although I did find opponents the very high rank opponents could pick out the slight opportunity they had to get in a counter hit between the kicks and punches, between the Flamingo kicks and then the flurry of punches she could throw as she moved out of Flamingo. In 5 or in 4 Evolution here, the flurry of punches feels even less effective as its own main weapon. Well, that worked. I mean, but I think it feels a tad slower to activate than it did in 5.
Good guys below it.
But it's been a long time since I've played any version of 5 now, so I may not be remembering that right. Well, I'm not going to do the tournament yet anyway, but it is pretty late, so I guess I might as well wrap it up for today. My win streak. Anchor hearing, eh? Oh, I guess you just get item matches, so maybe I got that other item from just an item match. I forgot, because with Jacky, once you play a quest mode long enough, you get all the items you can possibly get from item matches. It's not all the items you get, but there's just a certain number of items that you can get from item matches, and once you've got all those, all item matches just give you money instead. So I've forgotten. I'm not used to getting actual items out of item matches. All these earrings, though, I don't want to wear earrings. I don't want to get my earlobe torn off or torn open. So yeah, every arcade has its own little uniquely named tournament, and they all have their own weird logos, graphics that you see when you actually start the tournament. So now you have the enter tournament option. My completion rating is just over 50, which is what we needed for the tournament. I want to get that up to 90 though, so next time we'll be slugging a lot more punks down in Bay Area. Down near the waterfront. We're just gonna be just wrecking fools. I mean, I guess that's legal. I don't know. You can just go down to the waterfront in your local city and just beat people up, right? The cops are like, yeah, it's cool. I mean, I guess we're all consenting adults. Just go out in the, go into a caged area somewhere and just brawl it out. No police will stop you, right? That's what I've learned from Virtua Fighter. I suspect that may not actually be the case in reality. But here in VF4 Evolution, we're better than reality. You can just go fight. Wow, look at the background graphic. I'm just, like, Bay Area is just right on the edge of a gigantic, like, chemical plant or something. That doesn't look that great. Yikes. What was this one called? Man, how the way the background scrolls always gets me. This is just World West. You got maybe some shipping warehouses or something there. But here, chemical plant. Hot dang. Anyway, it'll be back to Bay Area next time. More Sarah. Just kind of feeling out how she works. Not learning specific moves so far. That'll come eventually. Eventually, you definitely have to really break down the character concretely and learn to fight in a very careful sounds wrong. Just in a very disciplined way where you don't do a lot of their moves except maybe in very limited circumstances. Because if you try to do most of their moves, a lot of the time, they will just get really badly punished. I'm sure that'll start happening to me with Sarah. Not too far into the future of her little quest, but so far, it's all been fun. Oh, I won a color. I don't care about earrings here. That's stupid. I didn't really use earrings on her in the Virtua Fighter 5 games either. So now her starting pants are red. So I blue, default blue. Let's do red. That's the new one. It's not too bad, actually. Like, how do the pants... No, the pants are exactly the same as the default. Well, no, they're slightly darker, aren't they? Slightly darker red. The top, I think, is better than the pink. Somehow the pink does not look quite right on Sarah. I don't know why. But you see how her bracelet here is silver, but the color tinting is kind of crude, and so here it's just... Now it's just red metal. Okay. Oh well. So how can I incorporate that into my scheme? I mean, red isn't usually my favorite color. This red is not terrible. I'm not sure I have a thought here of what of these would go red. I mean, we already noticed the red accessories were weird. Yeah, I don't think I want to incorporate any of that red. No. Nope. Not really. No. That's not terrible. That's That's not so great. That's all right. We'll just stick with the blueberry look with a silver chain for now. Alright, so that was technically my second outing in quest mode with Sarah, but now we're doing it for realsies. We will be back. I keep saying this is getting weird to me now because I heard another YouTuber. If you go check out Rogue Love. Is that what? Yeah. ROGUELOVE. If you like watching people play roguelike games, that's the place to be. And he's got a very pleasant commentary style, but he was getting weirded out by the whole Wii thing. He was using Wii a lot to talk about what he was doing in the game. And ever since he said that, and I heard him say that in an old episode I was listening to earlier today, now I've got that in my head and it's tripping me up. There you go, coming up on the crazy costume season in real life here, I guess, so that background is kind of appropriate. What am I doing? I'm paranoid, so I'm going to save twice. I should really stop doing this. I'm going to make myself stop. I started doing that because one time after I ended an episode and then came back the next time, I found it had not saved but what I eventually realized was that it auto-saves when you leave quest mode. So if I had left quest mode at the end of that episode, I would have been fine, but what I realized watching the episode back was that sometime later was that I had just been sitting there on the quest mode map and I did my wrap up there, and then I ended the video, and I think at that point, instead of exiting quest mode, I must have just turned the PS2 off, so it didn't save. But as long as I exit quest mode, it's definitely saved, so I don't have to mess with another save. I can be a big boy and not be scared of that. All right, so thanks for watching my return to Sarah here, my first real outing where I'm really going to go ahead with quest mode with Sarah. I went back to the first arcade and just kind of restarted from there. It's looking good so far, but we're still on the easy ranks, just mashing stuff. It's all feeling fun, and then pretty soon we'll just start getting bopped and I'll have to actually learn to do stuff. Might happen next time. Next time we will no doubt open up the tournament. No, I did open up the tournament. Anyway, I'm going to get to 90% completion in that second arcade next time. That'll be my goal anyway. And then once I get to 90%, then I'll do that tournament. See how that goes. It's still pretty easy going, so that shouldn't be a big, tough thing to do. And then it'll be on to the third arcade out of this chemical plant zone in Sega Bay Area, whatever it's called. So that's coming up. I'll be playing that Sunday night. Right now it's Wednesday night. That next episode then will be uploaded and posted on YouTube on Monday night, as this one is going up on or Monday, this coming Monday, as this one is up on Thursday, unless my ISP dies or something. So, yeah, that's all for now. Demonic Sarah watches over us scornfully, and that's where we're ending. So thanks for watching. Have a pleasant dreams, I think, is what red-eyed Sarah there. See, now in theory, is that a costume you can actually get? You can put those pieces together? I wouldn't be too surprised. Have I seen a bat-winged Sarah AI? I bet I have. I'm not remembering one specifically right now. There probably is one somewhere. Well, maybe we'll find them. Maybe we'll get those bat wings someday. Dare to dream. And red contacts and red short hair and then a black top. Is that the cat suit or the 2P costume? I don't see a chain. Wait a second. How could I... am I going here? Whoops. No, what I want is, this. Yeah, there's no chain, so this must be the catsuit, right? Unless it's some unique piece. I guess it's a black catsuit. Wow. Anyway. That's it for now. Good night. That didn't come out sounding. Where's my pleasant good night? No, that sounds weird. Oh, who cares? All right, later.